Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame Apothecary. How are we all doing? How did we do through that Scorpio new moon? As I'm recording this quick little update, we're still very much in the energies this entire week. So, kind of starting the 13th of November all the way through actually into next week through the 22nd, and as the sun tips into Sagittarius, we are in a powerful activation of light codes. The next 2 days, the 17th and the 18th in particular, are the word monumental is what's coming in. Now, there's a lot of different ways in which this energy is being shared with different energy workers. Pam Gregory has a lovely interview with a woman, I think her name is Nancy Rebecca, who talks about the 17th and some blue light beings. I'll put a link below because that was a really lovely interview that Pam Gregory did. But the way that I'm called to share this energy is through some astrological conjunctions that are happening. So we're going to play with it through that. And in particular, we're going to talk about Venus conjunct Kali in Libra, which is exact on the 17th. And we're going to talk about Mars, the Sun, and Ceres, all conjunct in Scorpio, which is exact the 17th into the 18th. There's another piece also, which is this massive conjunction of energies at the beginning of Scorpio. And this is making a really beautiful water, like mixed sign air and water trine. I'm feeling if I'm going to go into a lot of detail about this. I'm going to invite you to read the Scorpio New Moon Cosmic Light Drops because I go into a lot more detail about this one, but it's a grouping of conjunctions. So we have Kali conjunct Venus in Libra, the sign of connection, the sign of our relationships. Venus is already connected to Libra as the ruling planet of that sign. With Kali there, it is really asking us to get clear, to draw firm boundaries, and to allow anything that is not true about our connections. And this is all of our connections. This is our personal relationships. This is our connection to the world around us, to how we create in the world. Libra is also about what we value. So what have we been told that we need to value that we no longer do, or that we never really did but we thought we should? Like, a good example of this is being told when you're young you need to take these exams so that you can find out where you're going to go to uni, so that you can decide what you're going to be for the rest of your life. And then you get married and then you have 2.5 kids and a dog and you move to the suburbs, etc., depending on where you are and what your culture is. Those can change a little bit, but it's all these rules. And this idea that somehow you should already know how you want to spend the entirety of the rest of your life when you're a teenager. This could be one of those sets of values. Whether you want to get married and have kids at all could be part of that. What kind of job you want to do, whether you want to follow in your family's footsteps, could be another one. These sorts of things are really rising to the surface right now, and that it's part of this massive encodement of light that's coming through this portal of the 17th and 18th. It's really multiple, but this particular one is very, very strong. Then we have the sun with Ceres and Mars over in Scorpio. This conjunction was active with the moon also, but on the 18th it becomes exact. So we can feel Kali and Venus helping us clear out, de-rubble the line of, this is what I was supposed to value, this is what I was meant to desire. No, this is actually what I value. No, this is actually what I desire. You feel the difference there? As Mars and the sun say, yes, now that I can feel what is true for me, I can put that into action. I can make that my outward expression of self. So now over to the beginning of Scorpio, because this particular trine is really connected to this energy. And it is a galactic supercluster called Shapley. It is Isis. It is Persephone. All flowing together. The Shapley supercluster, unlike what we see, what science has said is the ever-expanding universe, Shapley actually pulls everything in. It's a magnetic force pulling things closer. Isis and Persephone are very connected to reclaiming, remembering, wholeness, and finding through deep introspective work and the processing of grief a state of queendom or unification of whole beingness. With Shapley there, we can start to feel how we are being asked to gather, to pull all of these aspects of ourselves back into ourselves, to remember ourselves. They are making a trine to Saturn and Magdalena. And on the 17th, Magdalena tips back over from Aquarius. She had retrograded back to Aquarius, but Saturn and Magdalena have been in conjunction since about June, actually. And on the 17th, tips back over and meets Saturn at the zero. Meets Saturn there at the zero of Pisces. This is opening up our higher hearts, accessing new flavors of karma, new wisdom, new rememberings of what time actually is. It's coming in. It's something to play with. And these are water signs, right? So it's emotional. It's allowing our hearts, as opposed to just our minds, to remember who we are and why we're here, to remember our soul mission and our journey, and why this entire beautiful game, as it were, has been created. The reason this is mixed is because Magdalena is, as I'm speaking right now, still at the 29 of Aquarius and just about to tip over to the zero of Pisces. While over in Gemini, at the 29 of Gemini, that air sign, we have Medusa. Medusa has just started moving retrograde, so is pulling away. But this is a reclamation. And then we also have Vesta at the early degrees of Cancer. So bringing that fire in, fueling us. And this, let's feel for a minute. This is helping us as we are burning away. Fire is a purifying sort of energy, and we have Kali and Vesta, very active over these couple of days. So we get to play around. We get to play around with burning away old stories held within our mental body and within our emotional bodies to what was expected of us, so that we can come more fully into the truth of who we are and what we're actually here to do. The advice that I am hearing for this portal, so beginning from right now as I'm recording this on the 16th of November, straight through really the rest of November, this portal is wide open. And on the 17th in particular and the 18th, give yourself a lot of you time, a lot of time to go within, to flow and ask your higher self and your higher heart and that part of you that knows you, is this still true for me? Is this still true for me? Is this still true for me? In all of the possible ways, in all of the possible ways. Move through all of the questions that have been nagging at you. And instead of trying to find the solution in your mind, open your heart and say, I allow now. I allow this information to be remembered. There are massive activations happening also, galactic, dimensional, evolutionary, whatever words ring your bell, as it were. The crux of it is that this portal is laying the groundwork, hence that Magdalena Saturn conjunction being on the day, on the 17th, on the day of the activation of light, the day of the activation of light, for a massive awakening that is gearing up. It's like the first ding, 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 ding of the alarm clock has started to go off, and some people are already starting to like stretch it out and yawn and be like, oh, is it time to get up? Is it time to get up? Is it time to remember? Is it time to open my eyes? Other people are going to hit snooze a couple of times, but it's going to, the messaging that I have been getting is that the last 2 weeks of December, especially the solstice, is going to be a massive awakening. The closest that I have been able to touch into is kind of what we experienced in the time between the December solstice of 2019 and the December solstice of 2020. That level, but actually bigger awakening. So allow yourself to breathe and to be and to rest when you need to rest, especially on the 17th and 18th. Like, give yourself a lot of space. Give yourself a lot of space. Over in the members portal, I have the Scorpio new moon transmission and light activation, and I've made that open for anyone who wants to journey with it, and it's going to stay open until the 20th. So there will be a link below if you are called for this dragon power sort of unification transmission. If the activation of light, we allowed a lot of pink ray energy to move through during this particular activation, all the way out to the Oort cloud. So it's it's there. If it calls, I'll have a link, of course, to the cosmic light drops below also. I'm going to close now because I want to keep this pretty tight. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling the rest of this year. Have you also been feeling that there's something very big on the horizon? I would love to hear how this is all moving through you, because each and every one of us is so unique. The way that it's going to move through our systems is also unique. You may have remembered that during the Scorpio new moon, the Sun, Mars, and Ceres, and the Moon were in trine to Neptune and opposite to Uranus. This very, very, very strong dreamers awake, sleepers awake, sleepers awake energy. That is still active now. That will be active through this portal. It's expanding out though. It's getting looser. I'm going to invite us to breathe for a few moments together as I close. If there's someone you feel should be receiving this message, please do share the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if it calls and you're not a subscriber already, please do that. With so much and many loves, as always, in always, from, through, and beyond the all dimensions.